Ali, 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 yeah. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7.
Can you hear me, sister? Islam, can you hear me?
Islam, family. Islam, grandman. I can hear you clear as a bit.
Gratitude. Islam, Moorish America. Let us rise upon the 7th and give all praises to the great God, Allah, Father God, Allah, and honors to His holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. But let us come forth with our ancient Comedian and adept Moorish American prayer. And as we come forth, we ask that you open up your hearts and minds as we open up the way. Islam, Islamism. Ya Allah ebnu heru makuneteru. Ya Allah ebhet heru. Ya Allah ma'at heru. Ya Allah hotep heru. Ya Allah heru. Ya Allah ma'at herakuti. Ya Allah ahwajet duty. Ya Allah per im sutek per im heru. Ya Allah bamaduti. Al hajat shepsis rab to Ali. Amin. Halayas. And that is the say Moorish kin in transliteration. O Allah, the Father of the universe. O Allah, the Father of love. O Allah, the Spirit of truth. O Allah, the Spirit of peace. O Allah, the Spirit of freedom. O Allah, the Spirit of justice. O Allah, you are my protector. O Allah, you are my guide. O Allah, you are my salvation by night and by day. O Allah, through your holy prophet. O Allah, Drew Ali. Amen. Holy Issa. Islam, Moorish king. And now we come forth before you with the divine constitution of Moorish America. Salvation, our God, unity. The seven supreme constitutional acts of law. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of Moorish America empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs, if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. The bylaws. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh. And on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you're part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish Americans to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings, become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you're entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. And now that this meeting has been opened according to the triune acts, Acts 1, 2, and 3 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, we say Islam, Islam, Islamism. The providence of Allah is ever all his works. He ruleth and directeth with infinite wisdom. He had instituted laws for the government of the world. He had wonderfully varied them in all beings, and each by his nature conforming to his will. Shemotepu Moorish Ken.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Gratitude to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh for opening up the way according to law. I am the National Grand Secretary of the state of Indiana, and I rise giving perfect praises to our Father God Allah, Dr. Saad Natanu Hashim Peace and love, family, heart, yourself. I rise giving perfect praises to our Father God Allah, and the highest honors to our holy prophet, El Haj Sharif Abdul Ali. Honors to our theocratic Moorish American government. Honors to our Grand National Seal, our Grand National Emblem, and our Grand National Flag, the Moorish flag. Honors to our Royal Consul. Honors to all of you for being here in this Grand Moorish Perspective class. Honors to our divine constitution and bylaws. Islam, Islam, Islam. Chapter 53. Holy Instructions from the Prophet Justice. The peace of society depends on justice. The happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. Keep the desires of thy heart, therefore, within the bounds of moderation. Let the hand of justice lead them aright. Cast not an evil eye on the goods of thy neighbor. Let whatever is his property be sacred from thy touch. Let no temptation allure thee, nor any provocation excite thee to lift up thy hand to the hazard of his life. Defame him not in his character, bear no false witnesses against him. Corrupt not his servant to cheat or forsake him, or the wife of his bosom, O tempt not to sin. It will be a grief to his heart, which thou canst not relieve, an injury to his life, which no reparation can atone. In thy dealing with men, be impartial and just, and do unto them as thou wouldest they should do unto thee. Be faithful to thy trust, and deceive not the man who relies upon thee. Be assured it is less evil in the sight of Allah to steal than to betray. Oppress not the poor, and defraud not of his hired the laboring man. When thy sellers were gained, hear the whispering of conscience, and be satisfied with moderation, nor form the ignorance of thy buyer take any advantage. Pay the debt which thou owest, for he who gave thee credit relieth upon thine honor, and to withhold from him his due is both mean and unjust. Finally, O son of society, examine thy heart, call remembrance to thy aid, and if any of these things thou hast transgressed, make a speedy reparation to thy utmost of thy power. Islam, Islam, Islam. Today is September 9th, 2023, and welcome to another Moorish Perspectives class sponsored by our Moorish American government. Our host instructor is our National Assistant Grand Sheikh, Dr. Shadu Aminti and Mohedja Shepsuel. We will be coming from our new chapter of the week, Holy Instructions from the Prophet Justice, chapter 53, ayat 1. The peace of society depends on justice, the happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all of their possessions. Gratitude again to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh, Dr. Shadu Aminti and Mohedja Shepsuel, for opening up the way according to law. And gratitude to the National Grand Secretary of the State of Indiana, Dr. Sai Natinu Hedaru El, for taking registration and also reading the chapter of the week, chapter 53. Moorish can kindly check your emails and also keep your pens and papers on hand. At this time, we will call to the floor our host instructor, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh, Dr. Shadu Aminti and Mohedja Shepsuel. Islam, Grand Man. Muted. Unmuted.
Islam, can you hear me, Goddess and Queen?
Clear as a bell. Gratitude.
Gratitude. Islam, Islam, Islam. Islam, Moorish America. Want to rise again in ascensions, giving all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything. And I do mean everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome you, Moorish kin, to another grand draw when it comes to this Moorish Perspectives. And I'm your host instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Al-Mohadi Shabazz El. My ancient Comedian high name being the same as Dr. Shadu Aminti El Mohedja Shepsuel. And you already know, Moorish kin, we most definitely have a grand drawing to bring forth to our Moorish kin and bring about some upliftment. This is what we do. We have a powerful broadcast tonight. So we encourage our Moorish kin to come forth having their paper and their pen on the manifest. And this is going to be a grand drawing. So we ask that you pay attention because these lessons can be utilized to set your house in order. And our actual subject title, Islam, Goddess.
Your audio is going up and down, Dr. Shaheed.
Okay. Well, let me try to see what I can do about it real quick. Okay, can you all hear me now?
Much better. Gratitude.
Okay, gratitude, Islamism. So, yes, we have a grand drawing, Moorish kin, that we would like to bring to the manifest. And our subject title, is basically dealing with the peace of society dependent on justice, the happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. So this is going to be a powerful measure here. And it's pretty much a common drawing, as you can see it right there scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Our subject title and the basis and the foundation of this measure. And this, again, is dealing with the instructions of the prophet, the holy instructions of the prophet, which are dealing with justice. Now, we have been given many different measures of what justice is and what justice is supposed to be. We have been taught about justice on many different occasions. In fact, justice has been a stranger to us up into this new era in time now. And it's still a stranger to some of our people, not because they don't know justice, you see, and know justice as being what it is, but they haven't received justice. To receive it is to possess it, basically. You hear us talking about love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice all the time. So have we obtained justice? You see, that's the question we have to ask ourselves. Justice is demonstrated in a symbol within our nation. Justice is demonstrated in a symbol in our nation, and this symbol is none other than the scimitar. You see, so we have been taught to wield our scimitar in justice, in defense of ourselves, in defense of our nation, in defense of humanity, fallen humanity as a whole. So we want to have all of this in mind when we go into the essence of this special subject matter. It don't get no plainer than this. This is the way we demonstrate. We always come forth to bring clarity to our family. Want to give honors to our Grand National Chairman, Dr. Akinakten Pert M. Heru Tutankhamun Bey, for giving us the full breakdown, of our Moorish flag, because our flag has within it every representation of what that special justice represents. In fact, I'm going to pull up something right here so that our family can get a drawing off of this. And those who actually have a question about what it is we demonstrate. So let me share my screen real quick so that our family can move along with us. So I want to make sure that we bring clarity to those who may not know our paradigm and what we teach here. So give me 1 second, get this shared, and we're going to bring this to our family. And honors to our family checking in as well. Honors to our brother Charles Warrell, Marvin Nathaniel Elva, Sister Sakina Ra, all of those who checked in and those who will be checking in. So let me pull this chapter up real quick right here. This is actually a portion from the Exhuming of a Nation, but this is actually another portion where the chairman actually gave us an excerpt from that. And when you look at the scimitar, as you may see it on our medallion or you see it on our flag, you will see it's surrounded by 4 quadrants. You will see justice inscribed in the scimitar, but we don't even have to put justice in the scimitar because what's understood need not be explained. You know, as far as dealing with the scimitar as a symbol right here, but we will go further into the depth, you know, of the insight behind, you know, this justice. And our chairman has placed it here. And if you notice, he says it's sacred origin and purpose. And I want you to hear what he say, because I'm going to go further into some measures as well, because one of the first things I had to do is stand resolute. I learned how to demonstrate standing in defense of our flag. And so justice is one of the things that I really love. You know, prior to me coming into a true concept of justice, you know, I thought that, you know, I was the Libra scale, so to speak, you know, under the world of little animals, until I found that I am the Ma'atic scale, you know, when it come down to dealing with my particular vibration of unfoldment, you know, through the birth chambers. And so looking at this here, we know that the scales in Kemet represents truth and right. So this is how one must learn as an adept to wield their scimitar with intentions of truth and right. In other words, with intentions of demonstrating the truth and right to the people. You see, this is what justice is. This is how you are able to stand in the fence of a people that have been done unjustly, of people that had been run amok, led astray, drugged through the mud, everything else you can think about, you know. So it states its sacred origin and purpose, the scimitar, right? The illustrious Prophet El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, and that's the high name of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, for those who don't know, represents his journey in essence. It states, return the scimitar to the Moorish tribes of the Americas. This great emblem of justice is also the 5th of the 5 great principles for Moorish Americans. Is yet another inherent saving power from their ancient forefathers. The ancient Moabites were the first to materialize the sword in harmony with universal laws. Unbeknownst to many of our people, this symbol, justice, or this symbol of the scimitar, exists within the macrocosm, within the heavens. It is known as the Big Dipper, or the Kafesh is what they call it in ancient Kemet. For those who don't know what Kafesh is, Kafesh, you know, is the scimitar. So this is the scimitar that has been present since the beginning. This is also known as the mouth of God, you know, from whence all creation come when you deal with everything that's rotating around the pole star. You have the 7 stars that make up the Big Dipper, you see? And so you have it as the Big Dipper, and the Little Dipper rotates around the polarises, just as a hand would rotate around a clock, you know, the big hand, little hand, so to speak, right? So when you look at this cyclic measure, this within the cosmos is a prime example of justice taking its course. And it is said that justice had been taking its course from the very beginning of time here. But also when we come into the body, the microcosm of the macrocosm, this universe that we call the human body is a reflection of that which is within the heavens. Everything that exists within the heavens exists within us. So therefore, our heavens represents the space above our neck. And this is where consciousness is. And in that special seat of consciousness, the scimitar of consciousness is sheathed above the neck. You see, we as people represent in our nation our 5-pointed open green star: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We are a living expression of that. Justice is the last principle. Therefore, justice is being led on by the first principle, which represents love. See, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You can't have love, then you ain't got no truth. So you must have love in order to have somebody that will bring you truth. They got enough love in them to bring you the truth, right? Then they got enough truth in you to bring you some peace. And they got enough peace in you, in themselves to bring you some justice. Freedom and then some justice, pardon self. And so this is how we come up with these things unfolding. These principles are very real. This ain't something we just philosophizing about and talking about. We are living to personify these principles. Some of them have each one of these principles in them stronger than others. Some may be strong in love. Some may be strong in truth, peace, freedom, and justice. But when we come together, when we are able to basically bring everything into cohesion, into oneness, and we're able to demonstrate this as a collective, individually, but yet as a collective, then there's no force that can be unjust to us. And we will never again be unjust to ourselves. So we're dealing with the living principle of justice. Even if you don't want to be justice, justice is always on the manifest. Justice is always taking its course. They have a saying, what goes around comes around. You see? Now you know what that means. So it's no strange happening that we have come around in this new era in time. Throughout the climes of the times, as we would say. We have been chosen to come in this time, and we represent the Scimitar of Justice that is standing in defense of our people. If not us, then who? We are justice that is taking its course. We heard them say in the Piscean records that Jesus means justice. But we are saying that consciousness means justice. So if you want to look at that in the realms of what they call Christ consciousness, that they later call Christ consciousness, it still represents you. It represents us. If you don't believe me, I'm going to show you. See, we try to reach our people in every area that they may be. It don't matter where you may be. You can be in a church, you can be in a mosque, you can be in a synagogue, you can be in a temple, you can be in a house of God, whatever you want to call it. You can be among the ancestors. We trying to reach you. This message is tailor-made for all of our people, not just one particular group dealing with one particular religion or one particular ideology or one particular philosophy, because it will be unjust for us to do for some and basically not do the same for others. You see? So again, it goes on, it says, justice is one of the infinite attributes of the great God, Allah. We're not talking about a spook outside of the self. We're talking about the reality of the great God within the self. Don't get it twisted. A sign always precedes justice. The scimitar is the only member of the sword family with an ancient history. Now, we just touched on some of that ancient history. The scimitar originated in the consciousness of the first physical man. That's what we just said, right? Uniting his divinity with manifested matters around himself. The spiritual purpose of the sword is the conquest of truth over Maya, as it was first used by the cherubim, the archangel of the stations of the sun, the zodiac. We just touched on that. And for those who don't know what we refer to when we say cherubim, we're not talking about a spook entity. In chapter 1, it tells us the function of both the seraphim and the cherubim. The seraphim and the cherubim are of the highest of the 9 orders of the angelic order. So if they were to correspond with the ganglionic centers within the body in this microcosm that we call the chakras, then the seraphim would represent the crown chakra. The cherubim would represent the third eye. We would call them intuition and telepathy. But what does chapter 1 in our Moorish Holy Quran say about these two functions or these two expressions? Because an angel is a thought of the great God manifested in the flesh, well above your neck. The angel is manifested in your consciousness. This is why we call ourselves swift angels, removing all of the spookism. And we have been given angel numbers. And I give honors to my chairman for giving me the number Swift Angel number 4. Do some research on your angel number, families. They'll tell you a lot about yourself. It's not by chance that you receive that angel number. So the cherubim represents those who protect, within the solar stations, as we are told. Anybody that know anything about astrologics, or astronomics, so to speak, then they know exactly what we're talking about when we talk about the cherubims that protect from the solar stations. If you look in the root of the word cherubim, right here, you see the word heru. So in other words, when you truly become an hierophant, one that is a revealer of the light, one that is a revealer of the truth, of the ancient mysteries, then you become a protector of that same truth. So then what does seraphim represent? If it represents the crown of all creation, we are told that the seraphim actually represents the spirit of the Almighty God Allah. And these are all stages that we have to unfold through. You see, this is what allows us to become lords of the plane of soul and lords of the plane of things made manifest, or what the Grand Quran called Khalifa, one who stands in the place of another, so to speak, one who is second and only to the great God, right? But then when we go into the other essence of the measure, you go into the Piscean records, they say that man was a caretaker. He was a caretaker of his own garden, his own sacred garden. Where's that garden? Above the neck. But when he fell from his higher state of consciousness, when he lost consciousness of his divinity, he left his post. And when he left his post was unmanned. So therefore, he was able to be misled or misused or conquered by his lower self. Where do you think he went? He fell in love with his lower self. He fell into his lower self. You see? And this is how he came off of his post. So anyway, it says the spiritual purpose of the sword is the conquest of truth over Maya, and it was first used by the cherubim, the archangel of the stations of the sun, the zodiac. See the Moorish Holy Quran in Genesis chapter 3 and 24. It talks about a cherubim being placed in the east, moving in every direction. See, that's that basically turning in every direction, as it states. That's that justice taking its course, so that lower self or that lower mind couldn't come up in there. So if we was in our cherubim state, then we too would be protectors like that, and we wouldn't allow every ill will and every thought of ill will to move us away from our post, flank us from one side and conquer us, from another side. So anyway, it says the ancient Moors used the scimitar to subdue the earth and conquering the wild beasts so civilization can come in. Now we look at this as it has to do with conquering a wild beast outside of the self. There's some truth to that history right there. We was made warrior in our process of unfoldment, as we begin to grow on this earth, so to speak, after we were seated within this earth. Some people like to call it evolution, and we know that evolution has to do with the mindset. This is actually the forging of the scimitar of consciousness, the awakening. It is with consciousness that we were able to conquer the wild beast within ourselves, though. See, this is the real beast we had to conquer. We had to conquer the lower self. Once it showed his head, we had to conquer that devil within, you see, to bring civilization in. The young generation like to talk about what they call savage life, or beast mode. I remember them saying it a few years ago. You see, and when we are in this special mode, then that means that we are not on our post as being the gods that we are, brothers, as being the goddesses that you are, sisters. You see? So this is why we were given the scimitar. Make no mistake about it. So it says the scimitars are the only swords recognized by its distinctive convex. This curved exterior surface represents the perfect circle, omnipotence, and the continuous, never-ending presence of the Creator. The curved blade with the shaped edge on the convex side has its weight balanced from the center to the outermost point above the cutting edge. And this is an alliance with the centrifugal unfoldment of man's deific life. Every part of the scimitar is designed by men of understanding for all men to understand. The great scimitar is returned by Drew Ali in the utmost trinity of sections, the barrel, the guard, and the blade. Now, the chairman breaks down what the barrel, the guard, and the blade represents. For those who don't know what the barrel is, let me go here. This is your barrel. This is the barrel that you hold on, that most trustworthy handhold that never breaks. You know, and then you have the guard. And then you have the blade. So these are 3 degrees of this scimitar of consciousness that is above your neck. So watch what it says. It says the barrel or the handle represents the great God, divine rule, and the government in all creations. It is omnipotent laws, it states, which governs all events. The guard represents the angels, the cherubim, seraphim, right? Death, Michael, Gabriel, right? Ethereal and cosmic planes which defend stations between infinite wisdom and human knowledge. The guard delineates the deific will and the course of truth. It goes on to say the blade is in balance. The blade is balance, equality. It says in a level from which the plumb of line of man's consciousness is suspended to the plummet of his actions. See tools, because the plummet is one of our tools, the plumb line. It states the ancient ones knew equally can only be found in justice, or we say equality parts if I'm reading too fast. The scimitar is the sign of the spirit of Allah's jurisprudence. The Hindu uses the Sanskrit word karma to describe the fixed course of justice man reaps with man's souls, or what goes around comes around. We just said that earlier, right? Then he go on to say the scimitar also represents force. Jesus, whose name means justice, question 36, said force is the will of Allah and is omnipotent. Force changes not, but power changes as the ethers change. Man and other thinking things direct the force, and when it has done its work, the power is no more. Moorish Holy Quran 7 ayat 14 through 18. Justice is the principle used by force which keeps the creations of Allah in their designated harmony. Freemasons, with no eye for divinity, assume the scimitar to mean power. The power of the pale-skinned God and their ideal force is their armies, navy, force, right? Air Force. It states in a few good men and armed forces. Oh, look what they have done to our song, man. You know, and the chairman also goes on here. He said, the Turks and the Arabs made the scimitar renowned to the modern nations of the earth. Prophet Muhammad used the two-edged scimitar in his re-civilizing of the world. One convex for force and the other for power. In the 4th century BC, old Damocles had a sword hanging by a hair above his head during a feast. It reminded him that the power to a ruler of men is not greater than the force of his creator. Today, in the holy city of Mecca and other Islamic countries, the scimitar is used for castrations and decapitations of those convicted of various sins and crimes. It is used by a mufti on Friday immediately after Jummah services. And with the chant Allahu Akbar, he uses the scimitar to send the body to the earth and the soul to its creator. These public maiming and murders are performed under the governmental glass of state executions. State authorized murders, it says, be they crucifixions, hangings, decapitations, or lethal injections, are all in defiance of life, which man did not give. To carnal man, who has forgotten he is made in the image of the great God, the threat of death gives the illusion of power and fear, but cannot command love. The scimitar and star of the Moorish Americans and ancient adepts have been grossly misunderstood and often confused with the jewel of the Shriners, the elite Masonic organization established in the USA. However, the pendant jewel of the Shriners has a lot of other symbols between the scimitar and the great God and the pentagram of man, e.g., Egyptian Sphinx head, the fez, and the crescent moon of Africa's Islam. In fact, if one were to remove all the pillaged African symbols from the European Shriners logo, it would completely disappear. It goes on, he says, only 2 kinds of men lay claim to the great scimitar: those who inherited its angelic symbol of universal justice from the great God through their ancient forefathers, and those who borrowed it. The latter secretly whispers its presence under the cloak of oaths, while the true owners lay comatose from the assault of 3 ruffians. This criminal attack was so devastating until many semi-conscious Moorish Americans today, even after the advent of their savior, Noble Drew Ali, are still dazed into believing the stolen jewels now belong to the thief. Thoughts of this nature derive from the mayor of mental slavery, in which 9/10 possession appears law, thus allowing the criminal to describe the crime. Some of these true owners who have forgotten they are the victims have gone so far as to identify their holy prophet as a member of the same vile, seditious band of Jubilo, Jubela, and Jubilon, which are the culprits that put their light out. Their sole assignment being to not just put out the light in Africa, but to stand Tyler over the shallow grave where the light is buried. See Freemasonry. No conscious and holy man or woman could equate a Muslim, such as Prophet Noble Drew Ali, in the same breath as being a Shriner. Therefore, let us forget the falsehood and go with the mind of fleshless things to examine the emblem of the Moorish American flag, because it indeed has an ancient history. We begin with some of the Moorish trivia by defining the star, circle, and the scimitar. And I'm going to actually close with this particular portion right here. It says, contrary to modern belief and usage, the scimitar is not a weapon. Weapons are instruments of destruction, murder. See the cross. The scimitar in its purest sense is a symbol founded upon the indestructible soul. Actually, they even referred to the scimitar, the Kafesh, as the soul of Ra in ancient Kemet. Go figure. The indestructible soul. Ra is considered immortal, right? It states consciousness and remembrance of man to be God. The constant swing of the scimitar carries the due course of justice and has the force to separate divinity from matter. And that's the thing. We have to be able to separate our God self from our carnal self. That's the nature of the scimitar. It gives you the ability to cut away all ungainly parts those things that are of no use to you, superfluity, so to speak. But it says being human is a built-in consequence for opposing reason. The mighty scimitar is not controlled by passions. So you don't wear your scimitar of consciousness with passions, emotions, desires, and other weaknesses of carnal man. Nevertheless, the Islamic and Masonic worlds adopted the scimitar from the ancient Moors of Africa. Its symbolic use in their holistic way of life, represent their faith, and they founded the first religious creed, Hotep, Sultanothi, Islamism, man know thyself. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 48, ayat 6 and 8. The adept uses the scimitar symbol to the swiftness of infinite thought communicated between the spirit father and spirit man. And so it states the scimitar still holds much more wisdom to be learned by the descendants of the ancient Moors born here in America. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 47, ayat 10. The scimitar is a Moor's heritage. No other nation, religious group, secret society can rightfully claim the scimitar. Noble Drew Ali brought it to light from the seal of the Moorish nation. Like moles thrive in darkness, the warlike nature of the European is basically powered nocturnally. Like so, nations of Europe acquired their new world dominance under falsehood, ignorance, fear, and death. But these things would not have been in power without first placing the light of the African civilization under a shroud of darkness. And we can go on and on with this, dealing with the consciousness and what the scimitar represents, but we'll stop here, like I say, viewing the light of the time, because we really want to go into our measure. And we got a few more things that we want to share with our family as well. So we're going to give it all to you. We don't hold no secrets over here, and we don't hold nothing back. So I have another drawing right here that's going to take us deeper into this special measure. Let me pull it up. And this is one that I actually brought forth when I was standing in the fence years ago of our flag. There's a drawing that we demonstrated here, because all of this is going to lead up into what we want to really go into the essence of. Like we just described this to our family. We described justice taking its course. We described, the pole star and us being a representation of that. That's why, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, whether they know it or not, when we close out the meetings, we always say we are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must take its course. But whether we know it or not, this warning from Prophet Noble Drew Ali, was actually a speaking our flag and the ingredients of our flag into existence, whether we know it or not. Because remember, we say that our flag and our banner was created, by cherubim and seraphim, and it was passed down from on high. They wove a celestial cloth because the old cloth had become old and it was withering away, so to speak. So we must prepare for men new garb. So this is the garb that has been passed down to us. We want to give honors to our chairman for being inspired. These symbols that we have here were symbols that were brought by the prophet himself. The chairman just had sense enough to tap into the divinity and bring this thing to us with all clarity. So that's why he said it. See, we are for love. See, failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, and freedom. See that? LTP, right? Freedom. And then, and justice. Islam, Grand Secretary of the State.
Yes, sir. Pardon the self. If you're showing something more, we don't see it.
Okay, gratitude. I might have.
Gratitude.
I thought I was. Let me open it back up. That's all right. Okay, here we go. Here it is. You see it now, Grand National Secretary of State?
Yes, sir. Gratitude. Pardon yourself.
Gratitude, Islamism. So again, here it is. This is the warning from the prophet. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom. That's your LTP and F, right? And justice. That's your scimitar, right? And when these principles are violated, notice we point the arrows at it. Justice must then take its course. And you see 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, and 90 degrees. So 90 degrees times 4 is 360 degrees. But we know that this cycle moves into infinity. We can go into 720, 1080, and keep going. But at the root of all, you will find the number 9. 7 and 2 is 9. 3 and 6 is 9. You see what I'm saying? When you get into the 1080, 8 and 1 is 9. 9 represents re-entry. You see, so we come forth and we are birthed out of this special cycle, so to speak. We say, well, at every level, there's a greater devil. So every time justice takes its course, it makes us stronger. Everything that we go through, as a result of what we deal with on the plane of soul, these things make us stronger. We talk about harmony, truth, balance, right, order, and justice. We talk about justice, mercy, love, and right. That's also symbolic of the quadrants here. The 4 quadrants also are synonymous with the actions of the soul, and the soul, so to speak. So we have been given, the scimitar to be able to stand in defense of our higher state of consciousness. And this scimitar is in us, just like the great God is in us. Well, who do we think the great God is? What do we think the great God is? If he don't represent these principles in this scimitar within us, then we don't know who the great God is, do we? So let's go further. I have another measure here because I did a whole drawing on this right here, and I'm going to just touch on some things here. I want to pull something up real quick. I'm going to hit this so when I open this up, it can have some detail in it. Let me hit the download. Well, it downloaded it twice. That's all right, too. I'm going to go ahead and hit this other one, too, since, that way I ain't got to go back. Okay, let me download that one. And there's some things in here I'm going to point out. And then I'm going to go back to our ayat that we dealing with. So I brought this forth years ago, like I said, when there were many people that were attacking our flag, and you can see I got the prophet here standing in front of the pyramids with the scimitar in his hand. His high name, Al-Hajjat Shepsis Ray Abdu Ali, which is El-Hajj Sharif Abdu Ali. That is, then you see it here, it said, we are a hard-headed, stiff-necked, mean set of people that have never done anything except at the point of a sword. That's what Prophet Noble Ali said about us as a people, right? And so then I just quoted this a few minutes ago. Coming from our Moorish Holy Quran, if you notice, it says how the Moorish flag unfolded to become manifest in this new era in time. The sage Minste stated, the wheel of time is turned once more. See that cycle, that wheel? Justice taking its course, right? The race is on a higher plane of thought. The plane of thought deal with consciousness, right? So what is the higher plane of thought? Where is it? It's above your neck. That's why we say man is a thought of Allah made manifest in the flesh. What kind of thought? We got a love thought, truth thought, peace thought, freedom thought, justice thought, and many other attributes that we can name. But it says the garments that our forefathers, our fathers wore have given out. The cherubim have woven a celestial cloth and placed it in our hands. And we know the hand is symbolic to the mind. due to its ability to shape, to mold, to obtain, to retain, to build something and make something with, right? The cherubim have woven a celestial cloth and have placed it in our hands, and we must make for men new garbs. So we just told you what the new garb is, right? So there's some drawings in here where I was showing, how everything came to be. But I want to go down a little further because I actually showed the two lineages as well, because the chairman was telling you about those who consider themselves Shriners as opposed to the Moors. There are two different lineages that are given here. And if you notice, our flag is over here dealing with the Comedian Adept Mastery, dealing with being, adepts of Kemet. But then you have those, who come through their particular line. And you see porch masonry. And we call it porch masonry for a reason. Because NBC think they're real Mason, but they ain't even made it past the porch because the European won't let them in. You see? So they have a hand-me-down version that they created as a result of not being able to get in. The European even tried to sue them for that, but that's a whole nother thing. So if you notice here, the original line has to do with Autumn, Sheti, Anshu, Kenan, Ma'atlail, Uriad, Aknuk, Methuselah, right? Lamuk, right? But then on this side, the children of Adam, the carnal man, you have Cain, Enoch, because they have their own Enoch. It's actually two. It's one that actually comes into this line and one that comes into this line, but don't get them confused. So it says also, and that's Aknuk is the proper way of saying it. Irad, Mehu, Jahil, Methusael. Notice that this one is actually trying to mimic, this lineage is trying to mimic the real lineage. Like Lamech, there's a Lamech over here, there's a Lamech over here, but I distinguished it by Lamuk. I did that so that ones can see the distinction. Then you have Jubal, Jabal, and Tubal Cain. See, this is where Masons trace their lineage. They even come down here and have their own Sabian group. But the true Sabians come from this line. The Shemsu, the Kam. This is the true Sabian. This is the Sabiun Mushrikun. Those who are wayward and not the true Sabians. And these are the Sabiun Hunafa that taught Muhammad ibn Abdullah himself. You have Muhammad, which is another way of saying Muhammad, Muhammad, and then they have a Baphomet to try to rival the true Muhammad. It's a corruption. Then you had the Ishmaeli and the Druze and the Templars, and then you come up into the Masonic degree. Over here you have the Idrisids, the Fatimid, the Moors, and you have the Adepts. So if there are those who want to know the difference between the Moors and those who are practicing that which is other than Moorish, or the scimitar that they demonstrate as opposed to one we demonstrate with, this is it. Their scimitar is a symbol of conqueror. It's a symbol of murder. Our scimitar is a symbol of consciousness, a symbol of being able to subdue our lower self. You see the difference between the two? And unfortunately, they were able to hijack the Prophet's lawfully chartered organization, MST of A. And that's why MAG is here, taking up where the Prophet left off from the supreme laws. Right? We don't say this to attack nobody. And this is actually an actual symbol where they actually placed a closed star above the scimitar on some of the colonies, that are found. These are actual structures here where Moors was demonstrating, right here in the Americas. After the Prophet Noble Drew Ali had passed for him, this is ruins of one of those temples, and you'll see where these symbols come from. When you see these symbols, now you know why they represent the way they do. If you've seen them in the media, that's where they come from. The Prophet didn't bring them that way, but that's the way they did. The other Moors did. And I actually showed different Moors that had taken from y'all didn't know it, Moors. A lot of different Moorish groups was taking our flag, superimposing it on different images and creating a measure while at the same time they was attacking us. So you had all these different Moorish groups that were creating different symbols while at the same time trying to criticize us. So when I made this PDF here, it was all about that education, you know. So when we go a little further into this, like I said, I wasn't going to read the whole thing here. It's just certain things I want to identify and point out, you know, dealing with the flag. You know, we say white mean purity, purity mean God, God mean the ruler of the land. The original flag of Kemet was a white clad banner. The original flag of the Moors was a white clad banner. It didn't even have a symbol on it per se. You see, because the symbol was represented by the banner itself. That's why you see Netzer planting the flag. You see? And so notice I said here, God in ancient Egyptian Netzer was Netzer, a Netzer. According to some people, this hieroglyph must be read as Netzeru or Nataru. It says the hieroglyph for God consists of two symbols, a flag with a long pole and seated God. The flag reads Netzer, and it means divine nature of things. The second symbol of the seated God is the determinative, meaning that it is not red, but it determines what the flagpole is about. So the two signs put together mean God, Netzer, right? You know, want to give honors to this particular measure right here too, you know, giving us the concept. And so our chairman showed us the white banner then with the 5-pointed open green star there, you know, and he actually gave a breakdown on the first flag, which a lot of this stuff is similar to what we just went over in the first breakdown, but he gave a grand methodology, you know, dealing with the vexillology. And so I came forth and put this here and showed that we once was a representation of the flag. Arm, leg, arm, head, right? You see Al-Sah here as the green one. Green represents new life. It represents vitality. But if you look at the colors that Al-Sah has on, if you look on some of the temples of ancient Kemet, it would be in the same colors of a flag. So the first flag was a living manifestation. You see? In fact, I'm going to get this right here just as a bonus real quick. It states the vexillology of the Moorish flag is founded in the infinite creation of man. The reason these truths has not been known, it says, is because every culture of nations and their religious tenets has designed the origin whims. Some insist man evolved from aliens, monkeys, fish, feline, and other formal mammals. Yet all must learn finite men or finite minds can't comprehend those things that are infinite. Hence, if man makes a flag of his human origin, these carnal ideas may last a little while, but has no power to save. By today's standards of a rectangular cloth with a distinct design, the first flag of Earth was really not a flag at all. This representation was a living manifestation of the infinite life of the great God in man, spirit man on earth. The original Moorish flag was white as driven snow, with a 5-pointed open green star in the center. Often it is said the Moorish flag is as old as the fall of man himself. As revealed by the last prophet Noble Ali, an ancient comedian adept master, the true age of our flag, the Moorish flag, is well over 100,000 years old. This divine origin can be traced by his questionnaires. It says, for the Moorish children's first question, who made you? Allah, the great God. Further research of this holy status is revealed in his circled 7 holy Qurans, chapter 1, where this flag of man, it says, from God was first raised. So spirit man, as a seed of Allah, held deep within himself the attributes of every part of Allah. Now seeds are perfect, as perfect as the source from whence they come. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was foreordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul and of the plane of things made manifest. So in other words, you were a living manifestation of these principles before they even, came into the form of the banner. You formed the banner, but they existed as you before they became a banner. You see? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice existed in creation before it became physically manifest. And before it became known as a principle that we had to live by, we were already that. And so I actually showed how the Muslim nations, when they first came through here, and I was showing you the lineage of the Fatimids, the Idrisids, and it showed you the different stages and steps that the flag came through. You see the white flag here, that was utilized. These were the flag of Morocco at the time, the Moors that had went there. The Ottoman Sultan that had their flag, which was a red flag. This is another Moroccan flag right here that was plain red. They had one that was green. That's when you get into dealing with, different caliphates. They change, the different colors, so forth and so on. It actually gives you all of those who were under them, like the Fatimids, the Abbasids, the Alawite dynasty, the Ismaili state of Alamut, and the Libyans. Then, I gave a breakdown on the 5-point according to the Sufis. We broke that down as a representation of what they represented, telling you that they basically represent an expression of us, just like this. So that's universal teaching. The star in ancient Kemet we see represents, the teacher, the Seba. It represents the teacher Seba, but it also represents, the 7 as well. That's a whole nother measure. We know 7 and 5 is 12. But see, Seba itself means to teach, to learn, and everything. So I'm showing you how far back, these particular things go. And then I actually showed, what Muhammad's sign would look like. I called this Ayatul al-Muhammad. And you see the Scimitar of Justice right here above the 5-pointed star. And for those who don't know what this is the name Muhammad. This is Ali. This is Fatima. And this is Hassan. This is Hussein. The sons of Fatima and Ali. You see the daughter of Muhammad, and then you see Allah in the center. These 5 are known as the 5 purified ones, or what they call the Pashtun Pak. You see? So I showed that it tell you that the angel Jibril was the one that gave Muhammad his scimitar. But we tell you that the angel Jibril was an ancient Comedian adept. Muhammad himself was prepared by the Sabi'un Hunafa, the seekers of truth. So I broke all of that down here as well. And we'll get this to our family, again, just so that they can have it. But we go into everything, even when we deal with the concept of justice again. See, it says, where do we get the name Yehoshua? From the east, right? And we say true east is within. What does the name Yehoshua mean? Justice. So true justice would be found within you. You have to enforce justice through the consciousness that you have. You see? Now within the body, because we deal a lot with being able to heal the self, we deal a lot with what we call, chakra healing and everything else, Kundalini awakening, as the Grand Quran would say, kun fayakun, being it is, that's all you got to do, and you can forge your scimitar. The potential of that scimitar force is at the base of the spine. If you notice here, there's a serpent that's coiled up here, and that's the serpent that they would tell you is locked, in this particular meeting. This is why we say we arm with resolution, because once you release the serpent of consciousness and you charge, this column, so to speak, it rises to the occasion. Now you understand why the pharaohs, are the Ramesu, or the Insuits. You see why they wore a headdress with the serpent or the cobra coming out of it. It represents enlightenment. You see? But this is what they call the scimitar sacrum. Some people say coccyx. No, it's the coccyx, not coccyx. It's the coccyx bone. Some people like to call it a tail if they believe in Darwinian evolution. But scientifically, this is called the scimitar sacrum. This is where the Kundalini energy, comes from. You see, when it comes to dealing with the spine, all you got to do is do the research. And it ain't strange, right? Because Muhammad, as we call him, Muhammad, you see, it was stated that him being an adept as well, he stated in his hadiths the earth would consume every part of the son of Adam after his death, except for one bone, the coccyx. It says the bone at the base of the vertebral column, from whence he is created, and from which his body will be reconstituted on the day of resurrection. See, all of this has to do with, a grand drawing, because Muhammad is saying that man was created, from this special measure, and he also will be reconstituted, on the day of resurrection. This ain't spookism, family. This is saying that man will be raised into awakening. See, the people that was writing them hadiths, you got to look at it. Some of these people were Sufi adepts. So they knew that what they was putting in here. And some of them things wasn't meant to be taken as literal as people took them. And they had a higher meaning. And they called for a higher means of interpreting these things. So down here, you see me, I break it down. I say this is none other than raising the Kundalini, or the flaming scimitar of consciousness in defense of the everlasting gospel. It states this is the grand unfoldment of our Moorish flag, being made flesh divine through the exercise of holy breath, as we unfold into supreme laws of our holy prophet. Our flag unfolds. Behold the Moorish flag, right? So notice I say this is your Moorish, your flag, Moorish America. Take it and save yourself. All of this came out of me defending something. And then I gave him the Moorish Psalm. Psalms 85, 10 through 14. Listen to this, because this corresponds well with our subject title that we're dealing with. It says, near indeed is his salvation. What is salvation? Freedom, right? It says, for those who fear him, glory will dwell in our land. I want you to think about Moorish America. I want you to think about Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This is Psalms 85, 10 through 14. Near indeed is his salvation. Again, salvation comes through freedom. For those who fear him, glory will dwell in our land. Moorish America. Love and truth will meet. Justice and peace will kiss. Now, these things are translated differently based on whichever biblical text you go in, but this particular portion of the biblical text says love and truth will meet, justice and peace will kiss. And we know that these are all principles that we demonstrate: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, right? It says truth will spring from the earth. Justice will look down from heaven, right? The scimitar is justice. Heaven is above our neck, right? This is the consciousness, right? Yes, the Lord will grant his bounty. Our land will yield its produce. Our land. Justice will march before him and make way for his footsteps. That's talking about nobody but our holy prophet Noble Drew Ali, who became the bringer of justice to his people by teaching what he taught. Nobody can deny that, even if they disagree with the brother. I disagree with the Moors. They can't deny the work that Prophet Noble Drew Ali did. That hasn't been done by many of those who claim they know so much now. So, this was produced out of that. And I also produced this, as well. This was actually the first one, in defense. And I was dealing with the Grand Sister, the Moorish Adept. And, a lot of our principles within the Moorish adept prayer actually come out of this special measure as well. But you'll have to go into this right here, to see what it is and what it represents and so forth and so on. So for example, I will touch on this in special measure here, just to give our family a brief drawing where it says, what does the morning star symbolize? It says it symbolizes the great God Allah in man, as above and so below, the spirit of a nation, both in moral rectitude and physical achievement. When did this banner come into orbit? After the circumnavigation of Africa by the Moors over 100,000 years ago. And so I went into a breakdown on, the flag and everything that I showed also, the higher self, justice, mercy, love, and right in Allah, as opposed to dealing with the shadow of the lower self that come with the plant kingdom, the protoplasm, the earth, the beast, and man, everything that's dealing with what we call manifestation. This is where we end up running into that shadow. But you see man as a mastermind sitting in the center. If you pay attention above his head, and you were to go to the headdress of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, you would see the sundial in this same fashion on the headdress of the Prophet with the feathers in it, which is a symbol of Ma'at. So we basically showed the difference between that and the upside down 5-pointed star. The reason why Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought it that way. We showed where all these things are demonstrated. We showed that the African God, man, is symbolically buried here. This is the acacia tree. This ain't strange because in the teaching of the Sirah people of Mauritania, the ancient teachings that was on the manifest before Islam went into West Africa, the acacia tree is considered the sacred tree to our ancient ancestors, which were the Moors, are the people of Mauritania. So, we showed how people use these particular measures. The scimitar is actually from the family of the axe. So you can see the Nubians are the Cushites with the axe in their hand here. You can see they had boats, and they were definitely those who were able to circumnavigate the planet. But that circumnavigation is also symbolic to justice taking its course throughout many cycle ages, 25,000 year cycle ages. This is why we don't get caught up in the Gregorian calendar. They ain't seen a cycle age yet. The Gregorian calendar ain't seen nothing other than the 6,000 years they claim to create, and they still ain't seen that yet, really. That's what they came up with. But we've been on the manifest since time immemorial. The oldest man they found was 300,000 years old. So you don't think in the time of 300,000 years, and then dealing with 1,000 years from now with us, that they wasn't able to deal with what we call utilizing a scimitar? Come on, man. So 25,000 times 4 cycle ages is 100,000 years. That's a circumnavigation process. And all of these different schools of thoughts that you see here come from the first religious creed, which is Kemetic. And all of these things come from, those teachings that are found in self-mastery. If this was a pyramid and we were standing up at the top or the peak of the pyramid, we would see truth that has came in all directions and went in all directions. But they came from one source. No matter how they remixed them or remixed them, everything go back to Kemet. So we honor all of, the law, so to speak. So, yeah, this is powerful. That's that kafesh. That's that scimitar. See it in the axe-like form here. Remember, we said that when the wild beasts roamed the earth in large numbers, and you could hear the birds flapping their wings at a long distance, it was the Moors that took the sword and went in and slayed the beast so that civilization can come in. Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us that. So we just giving you the breakdowns of it, and that's what the scimitar ended up looking like when it was said and done in Kemet, before it became as sharp as it did. We even had a measure where we was demonstrating When Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, I was Muhammad, he said, Muhammad defeated the Roman Empire. And when I conquered Rome, we went in with the sword. You could hear the sword swinging. I cut the head of Rome off and pulled down the flags and sent letters to the other European governments and asked them, was I right? They said, yes, Muhammad, you are right. Just let us have a place to live. And the Holy Prophet said, I went into Rome with 72,000 men. And when I ran out of men, I reached down and picked up a handful of sand and threw it up in the air. And when it came down, there were soldiers seated on camels. All of that is basically speaking of us coming to the forefront in this new era in time. Because the same thing the prophet did here, the chairman did in this new era in time. Just like Muhammad ibn Abdullah sent many documentations, and this is actually on record, to these different governments that was there during his time. Prophet Noble Drew Ali did the same thing in his time. And the chairman did the same thing in this time. When we sent our declaration of proclamation of status and jurisdiction before the nations of the earth, the United States government was put on note of it and everybody. We ain't got nothing to hide. We letting you know we're a government. We letting you know we successionists. That ain't justice, then I don't know what justice is. You see? So we are those soldiers that are seated on the camel. Y'all know the camel is a symbol of our royal family that we call the tribe of endurance. Because the race is not to the swift, but to those who are able to endure to the end. Your staying power is determined by your saving power, and vice versa. Your saving power is determined by your staying power. So they even have a symbol of Muhammad in Washington, D.C. And you see Muhammad here with the Quran in his hand. This is from Washington, D.C., people. He has the scimitar. You know, that's their depiction of Muhammad. Of course, the Islamic world wouldn't agree with making a picture or a statue of Muhammad, but nevertheless, the United States gave their depiction. So this is one of the actual swords or scimitars, and he had a few of them, actually. You know? And so we Moors inherited that same scimitar of justice. That's what, you know, in fact, you know, they called the sword of Ali, what they call as Zulfikar. The sword of Ali. Ali was given a sword as well. You know, and Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, I'm going to repeat myself. I don't know what y'all think about that, but to repeat is to basically demonstrate something in a cyclic manner. And we know when we talk about the times and the climes through which the cycle ages come, you know, the truth comes with a higher expression. And there it is right there. You see the sundial on the prophet's head. I was showing you that earlier. He's representing Ma'at. Everything he got came from Kemet. Ain't no mason and no shrine or demonstrating like that. That's royalty. He wasn't just looking like that. He was living like that. So, you know, we also have our chairman here when he unsheathed the scimitar in this new era in time, letting you know that justice is still taking its course. This is a powerful demonstration here. You know, and so I just put everything in context, family. This is very important that we understand this. What was the question saying? Who is God in the holy city of Mecca to keep the unbelievers away? Angels. Well, we say an angel is a thought of Allah manifested in human flesh. So we're not talking about Mecca in Saudi Arabia here. Though the ancient Moors that really had protection of that was the ancient Cushites. We're talking about Mecca above the neck. We're talking about the thought of Allah made manifested in the flesh, the angels of consciousness. That's who guard in your holy city. It says, what is the modern name for these angels? Asiatics. Asia is the body, Attic is the mind. So it says he drove out the man and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden cherubim and flaming sword, which we showed this to you all. We showed this to you all. It says, what people represents the higher self? The angels who protect the holy city of Mecca. In other words, those who are able to protect their seat of consciousness. Right? What people represent the lower self? Those who were cast out of the holy city and those who accept their teachings. What is the higher self? The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmony of life and breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. Can the higher self pass away? No. Why? Because it is Allah in man. See, that's what we teach. So it don't get no plainer than that right there, family. But, just going through the various different expressions, like I said, all of this stuff comes straight from Kemet. Prophet Noble Drew Ali is justice taking his course. And he taught us how to be justice taking his course because we say he's still working from the plane of soul. But even when you go back to Kemet, you'll still see them principles. They call them harmony, truth, balance, right, order, and justice in Kemet. And then they became love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice to us. This is what these things represent. You see? It's so powerful that even Muhammad ibn Abdullah, right here, in his teachings, according to Abu Hurairah, he said, I will declare war against him who shows hostility to a pious worshiper of mine. This is what Abu Hurairah said, that Prophet Muhammad stated that Allah told him. Allah said here, declare war against one that shows hostility to a pious worshiper of his. And the most beloved thing with which my slave comes nearer to me is what I have enjoined upon him. And my slave keeps on coming near to me through performing nawafil, praying or doing extra deeds besides what's obligatory, till I love him. So I become his sense of hearing, the head with which he hears, right? His sense of sight, within his head with which he sees, his hand, right and left, with which he grips, his leg, which is right and left, with which he walks. And if he asks me, I will give him. If he asks my protection, refuge, I will protect him. Give him my refuge. I do not hesitate to do anything as I hesitate to take the soul of the believer. For he hates death and I hate to disappoint him. In the head, right arm, right leg, left leg, LTPF and J. This is all you, family. This is all you. Right there, Muhammad was giving you a depiction of the concept of arm, leg, arm, head. And if we notice, this concept of the five exists whether you go into the Hebrew language, Yod, Hey, Wav, Hey, you see the head, you see the arms. This would be the center portion of the body. Here, your legs. Arm, right? Leg, arm, there go your head. And then right here in the Arabic, it's funny that this letter H actually looks like a turban. I put that together, and then, you see Aleph, Lam, Ha. Aleph, Lam, Aleph, Ha. You see? And that spells Allah. So how is it possible for these names of the Creator, no matter you deal with Yod, Hey, Wav, because it's an Arabic word that corresponds with this Hebrew word, Yahuwah. They say Yahweh, Yahuwah is the Arabic. Just like you see Allah in the Hebrew, you see Allah in the Arabic. So when you're talking about these names, you're talking about the same entity. For those who think that they be going against each other, stop it. You're talking about the same supreme being, people. You got to read. Both of them represent what we call a tetragrammaton, a four-letter word. You see, A, L, and H without the A, that's a tetragrammaton. But the tetragrammaton is in the form of the star. Notice here the scimitar is beneath the star. And this actually was a symbol that was taken from India, the Amani Padme Hum demonstration. So it was Prophet Noble Drew Ali who first raised the scimitar, to consciousness. It cycles. You see? And so man, it goes on and on and on, right? And there's another measure for those who think that we talk about spookies. And this is another thing by Muhammad ibn Abdullah. I'm showing you that consciousness is the divinity within you. That's God working through you, and that's justice working through you is what I'm getting at. It says, narrated by Abu Hurairah, the prophet said, Allah says, I am just as my slave thinks I am. I am able to do for him what he thinks I can do for him. And I am with him if he remembers me. If he remembers me in himself, I too will remember him in myself. This is Allah talking now, according to the hadith. But if you say that Allah is within man, you'll have some people that have no understanding, claiming they Orthodox Muslim, will fight you tooth and nail. Some of them probably try to use the scimitar physically on you, if they had a chance, if you go into Saudi Arabia. But right here in the hadith, it says, if he remembers me in himself, I too will remember him in myself. I mean, what else are you going to get out of it? Let's correspond it with the Grand Quran. He said the nearest place you turn, or the most dearest place you can meet the great God, Allah, is in the heart. So it says, if he remembers me in a group of people, I remember him in a group that is better than they. And if he comes one span nearer to me, I go 1 cubit near to him. If he comes 1 cubit nearer to me, I go a distance of 2 outstretched arms near to him. If he comes to me walking, I go to him running. This is Allah speaking according to the hadith. Now, I don't know about y'all, but Allah can't walk and run without hands, legs and arms, and, deal with these things that they're talking about. We know that there's a spiritual meaning behind the arm and the leg and the head, but they giving these characteristics to the great God, which actually deal with characteristics of man. So now we understand why he told the angels to prostrate toward the man. Not because he was trying to get them to worship the man, but he had placed a portion of himself in the man. Justice, love, truth, peace, freedom, all the attributes in man. You see? This is just powerful, family. Now watch this. It says, it is not fitting for man that Allah should speak to him except by inspiration, or from behind a veil, or by the sending of a messenger to reveal with Allah's permission what Allah wills. So this is telling you how Allah speaks to man. We say in the Moorish paradigm, Allah speaks to man through man. This is a portion coming from the Grand Quran of Muhammad, the Holy Quran, the 5th Surah, Ayat 95. It's not fitting, again, for man that Allah should speak to him except by inspiration from behind the veil. He speaks to you by means of signs. You see, he speaks to you by means of symbols, if you're able to read the book of creation, or by the sending of a messenger to reveal with Allah's permission what he will. So he spoke to us through Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He's speaking to you now through me. He speaks to me through you. He speaks through us to the people that we trying to reach. See, this removes the spookism. So if he wants justice to be spoken of, then he sent us to speak it. See what I'm saying? It's right here in the Moorish, in the Grand Quran, as well as the Moorish Holy Quran. Allah speaks to man through man. Allah will bring justice to man through man. You see? So yeah, and also it says, Allah is most high, most wise, man, in spite of his high destiny, often the lowest of the low. Yet Allah, out of his infinite mercy and grace, has bestowed his revelation to man. So it gives the breakdown on the different ways that the great God Allah speaks to man, from inspiration and so forth and so on. This is one of the most powerful things that I had seen here, and this is where I close my measure at. When Muhammad made this statement, well, he was talking about Allah being the light of the heavens and the earth, and he made this statement. This is Surah 24, which is known as Al-Nur. The word Nur goes back to the word Nara, which is connected to the word Ra. So Allah or Ara Kemetically is the light of the heavens and the earth, Ra, right? And it tells you that this light is lit in houses that he permitted to be raised, but this light within a niche, and a niche within the lamp, and a lamp enclosed in a glass, and a glass as if it were a brilliant star. That's talking about us, man, human spirit clothed with soul, made in the form of Allah. The brilliant star represents what we call, the Merkaba, the divine vehicle, the day star of the ancient Comedian order. If you don't believe it, even Muhammad said right here, and they honor not Allah with the honor due to him, and the whole earth will be in his grip on the day of resurrection. It says, and the heaven rolled up in his right hand. Glory be to him. And highly exalted is Ray above what they associate with him. Now ask me, who is Prophet Muhammad calling Ray? The only Ray I know is the Ray that come from ancient Kemet. But only we can bring you these type of teachings right here. But we know the Ray deal with the sun. Ray deals with, the rays of the light of the sun, symbolic spiritual truth. The Son of Righteousness has risen with healing in his wings. You see, Rasulullah, Ra'el, you see, Gibrael, Israel. You see where they come from now? Bra-Rahman, Ib-Rahman, Ibrahim, Rahim, Rahman. Yes, sir. So yeah, when we deal with these things here, family, everything that we have has meaning behind it. But when we go back to what it is we were building on, and this is what we open up at, when we go back to what we were building on, now you see why we spoke on the peace of society depending on justice. It depends on us being justice and the happiness of those who are within this nation and the safe enjoyment of all it is that they possess. They can't have that outside of this government. They can't have it under the United States government. That ain't living. So the peace of society, as it relates to dealing with our people, dependent on us being justice made manifest in this new era in time. Justice is taking its course. Take your affairs among the people and take up your scimitar and stand in defense of your people. It ain't got nothing to do with physically going to war. It means become conscious and use that consciousness to civilize the savage. So that being said, Islamism without the schism. And at this time, what we're going to do, we're going to open up the floor so that we can hear from our family. So star 6 your phone, Moors, if you would like to bring forth your portion. Are you there, Morris King? Can anybody hear me out there? I hope this phone ain't went bad. Islamism. Yeah, I hope so. I hope some of our people want to be justice. Islam. Come on in here, Morris King. Many are called, but few are chosen. Islam, grand man, come on in here. Whoever whispering in the phone.
Divine Minister Haru.
Okay, go ahead, Haru.
Haru Patapma. Okay, gratitude, Mighty Moor. Divine Minister Haru Patapma El Bay, Vice Consul General of Michigan Territory. Let me rise and give all praise to our Father God Allah, honor to our Prophet Noble through Ali, honor to the Moorish American government. It's Moorish. This is definitely has been a grand demonstration. Our Prophet is such a blessing. And it's a divine matter that we're all here on this call today. Everything, there's no strange happenings. And in regards to the measure of the scimitar and of justice, it's really about us going through that holy jihad, that holy battle within the self, where we slay that lower self, You know, and this is a battle that we must take. And many people think that this jihad, this holy war, is a war with physical scimitars, you know, but in reality, this war is a war against one's own sinful nature, you know, and this is a war that we all must fight, and we must help each other fight. And the tools that we use to fight is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We use ourselves. We use that scimitar, you know, and we use these teachings, and we use the knowledge, just as you spoke so eloquently, you know, and we have everything, and it's been given to us by our prophet, and it's just about us going about into the nation and finding the right rhythm that it might be in harmony, and so our brothers can listen and hear. And so that's my Moorish perspective. Islam and peace.
And honors to you for your perspectives, brother. Islam and peace. All right. Islam. I think I heard our brother Marvin Edward Bay as well. Islam, you there, grand man?
Islam.
Islam.
Gratitude. Yes, this is Dr. Marvin Edward Bay out of the Texas Consulate. Rising, giving all praise to the great God Allah. Giving highest honors to his prophet. Prophet Noble Drew Ali al-Hasrif Abdullah Ali. I give high honors to our theocratic government, our Moorish American government. I give high honors to Act 1. I give high honors to all of our officials. I give high honors to this class, our Moorish prospectus class. As well as I give honors to you, Dr. Shedo Amentia Mohesi Sepsuel, a National Associate Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, and host and instructor of this most powerful class. I give honors to Act 1. I give honors to all of our officials. I give honors to everything that is Moorish. Our flag, our seal, our emblem, our divine constitution, our Holy Quran, our Book of Ali, our 101, 102, the exhuming of a nation, all of our divine revelations I give honor. Give honor to the forerunner of our prophet, Dr. Marcus Jose Gabriel, as well as give honor to the ancestors whose shoulders we stand upon. We are the return of the ancient ones. And this is the most powerful class. Dr. Shedo Amentia has accepted well. Justice, the peace of society, dependent on justice. The happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. And you covered a lot of ground. You brought up most powerful keys. I like how you went into speaking about that scimitar. You know, we know that scimitar represents justice, and it represents our consciousness, the consciousness in man. And when we understand this, then we know that we are the walking, talking, demonstrating scimitar. You know, always willing and able to stand in the defense of truth, in the defense of our prophet, of our government. You know, that's what we are. And I'm just so grateful for being here, being a part of this demonstration. And I mean, you just open it up. You just let them more know that scimitar is not all about being a weapon, so to speak, or a device of destruction. It's more a device of enlightenment. You know, as we unfold and present the truth, you know, when it's needed, and it is always needed. I mean, this is a very powerful class. And I just say gratitude for you for all that you do, National Assistant Grand Sheikh, all that you've done and all that you will do. Always standing in defense of your government and being a teacher to all. And this is what it's all about. You know, as we get these lessons, and as we make them applicable to the self, and then as we present these truths at every opportunity, you know what I mean? Whenever we come in contact with those that don't know, you know what I mean? We shed the light on them so that they can come into the understanding of what this life is really meant to be. Well, what is really spent for to build the temple of perfected man. And as we build this temple of perfected man, we become a shining light. We become that halo that Yehoshua will walk around with, you know, that our prophet walked around with as he brought forth uh, the enlightenment to uplift us as a people, to save us from our sinful ways, and teach us who we truly are, that we weren't the Negro, the colored, the black, the African American, you know, that we were slave to be. Because those names delude to slavery. You know, we are Moorish Americans. And hopefully our family, all of our family, come to this realization and also stand side by side, you know, with us, the Moorish Americans, here in this Moorish American government. And just be yourselves. That's what it's all about, you know what I mean? Just being yourself. And gratitude, God, man, for calling on me. Islam and peace.
And gratitude, my brother, for heeding the call. We give honors to you, General, for everything that you do. Praise be to Allah. Islamism without the schism, that's Aliism. We give honors to you, family. You know, and we just say that each and every one of us, whether we know it or not, we represent justice that is taking its course coming through our particular line, you know, our household, you know, our family. If we are the ones who have become consciousness, our intellect has become sharpened with the truth. It's not by chance. There are no strange happenings. Then you are the scimitar that is to stand in defense of your own lineage, your own family, your legacy. You see? And we all have that to do. We all being charged with the same measure. You know, so praise be to Allah. Islam. Is there any other more that would like to come forth and exercise their fire? Let the world know you're alive, Moorish America.
Hello?
Islam, grand man.
This is Dr. Bati Bay with the Iowa Territory. Person like to rise and give my man a praise to Allah. Understood the prophet, honest to the credit government, our world council, our flag, still emblem, divine constitution, the swift angels, and multitudes, and sent like honest to all the Moors that spoke before me, all the ones that will speak after. Honest you for this class. And the measure on the floor and our chapter of the week. And when we're thinking about being, you know, as you were speaking to, you know, the justice and being that justice, it takes a lot of work coming out of the state we in to realize what justice is, since we have such a, in a sense, a bad example, but and even in a greater sense, a good example on what not to do. You know, we come and we, you know, saying, looking at what's going on, just in the sense of what we see in the West when it comes down to the laws, but even more so, even with ourselves. And a lot of times we don't have the sense to be just with ourselves, because we don't, in the sense, we don't feel like we deserve justice. We don't feel like we deserve that, you know, that mercy that comes along with justice in that aspect of it. You know, because we've been, you know, beat down by the trials and tribulations, you know, of life, and we just let it get to us, that we forgot that we have to be somewhat, we have to have that air of impartialness to be able to
mitigate justice. That's not what you see. That's not what you see in the West. You don't see that. And it really starts in your household. There's, you know what I'm saying? And when we're looking at justice, there's no favoritism in justice. Justice is, it's hard to give a good example from the West, but when we're talking about what the prophet is saying, is you got those 5 filters. You got love, truth, peace, freedom, and then comes justice. So all that got to proceed when you're looking at, when you're dealing with yourself. Those are all things that you have to possess when you're dealing with yourself. And that's all things that you have to, have when you're in a, in a position to administer justice. We're not in it for, justice is not plumbed off the fact of how much money you got. This is not plumbed off the fact of if I'm your best friend or not. True justice is administered when we're looking at a situation and what is best to do out of the situation. Kind of like having a mentality of make your next move your best move. And yet it's still not harming nobody at the end of the day. And we don't get that. We don't get that here in the West. So when we're building from a sense of the what not to do, what not to be. You know what I'm saying? And that was what I have to say with a great example of that here. A lot of times when we're looking at the chapters of holy instructions, holy instructions that's really telling you how to get it to yourself. Because like you were speaking before, you can't give something that you don't have. You can't give that. You can't give that to the world. So your justice will still be offset, thrown off. It'll be funny looking. You know what I'm saying? Decrepit. You tilted, whatever, however you want to put it. But when we're looking at justice, it's not a punishment. It's how to hold something accountable to the nature of that creation. You see what I'm saying? So if you were created to be a blade, for instance, a blade of grass, you're not going to make that blade of grass a leaf off a tree, because that wouldn't be a divine justice. That divine justice is orchestrated from that standpoint of its nature. As us being the gods and the goddesses, ours have to look and be accountable from that aspect. You know what I'm saying? From that aspect of where we are one, in our nature, and two, our intent and our exercise of reason. And that's where, you know what I'm saying, I love that chapter out of the Book of Fire. When you're communicating the truth, you have to look at the intent and the exercise of reason before a sound judgment can be made. And you have to have both sides of the story. Most of the time, if you look at the West, you're not getting both sides of the story. They got one side, they got to gear to, what their minions have brought, the information their minions gathered, and even then, it's from an assumable state. It's not from a state of being just. It's not from a state of nature. What is natural unto you? What is natural unto, the bands of society? And so with that, I'll leave it at common peace, Islam, peace and love. Dedicated to the message.
Islam. And gratitude, brother, for all that you do, my brother. Yes, sir. Peace and love. Islamism. All right. Is there any other more who would like to come forth and exercise their fire? Islam, Sister Cammie.
Yes, sir. This is Sister Cammie. I'm in Michigan. I rise, honor, and praise the great God Allah, a honor, prophet, noble Drew Ali, official citizens, Moors here, there, everywhere, especially my Moorish kin. Justice. And I've learned with the gross national product that you get that justice to Allah. And if you can't give the justice to Allah, at least get and a lot involved in your God state so that you can live according to the principles. That justice, when someone wrongs you or you notice temptation, you start thinking about stuff, when it's sincere concern and love that is pure, your emotions will get involved, your feelings may get hurt, all that stuff, but you'll be feeling some kind of way. And when you get to the point that you're dipping in your lower self and you having those types of thoughts, stop and give it to Allah. When you start thinking, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this, that, and the other, knowing this against the laws of the said government and wrong government. And if for some reason it's not wrong that way, it goes against the principles of being righteous and holy and divine as a minister. So, with that justice again, I had some situations some years back where I had been wronged, and I went in my lower self, and I noticed that Negro plotting and scheming that take too much thought, energy to be undermining somebody. Forget those thoughts. Get at those things as far as what you can do. Or, okay, I'm going to walk into the police station and they're going away for life. Something like that. You give it to Allah before you find yourself in the situation in the hellish state of mind, because heaven and hell is a state of mind. So I just give it to Allah. I'll meditate on it. And if I start having those thoughts, just going left when I know I'm right, I give it to Allah. And that's the remedy. It'll last a few seconds for you to give it to Allah instead of worrying and not sleeping, your heart troubles and stuff, all types of stuff. To get at justice, whatever it is, give it to Allah. Or get Allah involved in your thought process. Gratitude.
In Islam, in gratitude to you as well, Sister Cami, for that measure. Praise be to Allah. Islamism without the schism. Islam. All right. Is there any other more who would like to come forth and exercise their fire? All right. Going once. Going twice. Islam, Goddess and Queen.
Islamism. Because I rise and give praises to the great Lord Allah, honor to our holy prophet, Noble Ali, honor to our government, our Moorish American government, honor to our officials, our National Grand Sheikh, our National Grand Chairman, our National Assistant Grand Chairman, our official Grand General of Moorish Virgin Islands, and I am Casella Fuyo, Prime Minister of Moorish Virgin Islands. Gratitude, Dr. Shadu, for a beautiful class this evening, another Moorish perspective, and gratitude to Dr. Sana to head of the room, who taking registration and reading all subject chapter. Gratitude to all the Moors who have spoken before me and all the Moors who shall speak after me. Gratitude for all the blessing that we have received in the new enlightenment
Islam. We just have a subject title, sis. It's dealing with the holy instruction from the prophet, justice, and the peace of society dependent on justice and the happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. Islam.
That sounds incredible because justice is not about murder at all. Actually, justice is about the preceding four principles. That's why Grand Sheik says justice will then take its course. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and it's absolutely should be adhered to so that one could continue to be in the state of a justice system, a justified state of being, So in any case, gratitude for allowing me to speak on this measure. As with angels, we know that this is an automatic blessing that Allah has placed within our DNA, RNA from our NDA. Gratitude, Islam.
Gratitude and Islam and Islamism to you as well, sister. Praise be to Allah. Islamism without the schism. Gratitude. All right. Well, all right. I want to give honors to our Moorish kin and everybody who came forth to give their special portions. And we just say gratitude. It's most definitely been a powerful draw, to hear from our Moorish family. And at this time, we're going to call on our officials and get straight to it. Islam. All right. Let us call for Sister Alset Amunel, the writer of the Ra Munel tribe. Islam, you there, goddess and queen. I seen you come on the panel a couple of times and drop off. Are you still on the conference call? Well, all right. Well, we know she's about her father's business. But let us call forth then our National Grand Mufti, Dr. Kanchu Mark Herube. Islam. You there, Grand Man?
Islam.
Islamism.
And it's our religion. Gratitude, Grand One, for the class and Covenant's fourth week. The rise, first and foremost, giving all thanksgiving, adoration, worship, and praise to our Father God, Allah, great God of the universe, the most beneficent and the most wise. And we give the highest honors that we can give to his prophet, our prophet, the last prophet in these days and in these times, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the savior of humanity. We give honors to his forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and we give honors to his government, our government, the Moorish American government, the government in which we live, according to Act 6. We give honors to the officials of this said government, our divine ministers and our swift angels, our mufti, our royal council, our secretaries. We give honors to our citizens, the Moorish Americans. We give honors to our flag, our divine constitution and bylaws, our Holy Quran, our Grand National Seal, Grand National Emblem, our Book of Fire, the exhumation of a nation. We give honors to everything that is Moorish. We give a special high honor to you, National Sister Grand Sheik, Dr. Shadu, Amiti, and Mentorships as well, for bringing forth Moorish perspective this evening. We give honors to all of our Moorish kin who have spoken before us and to our Moorish kin that will speak after us. We give honors to you, angels. We just continue to give the honors where honors are due and honor all true and divine prophets. And yes, we give honors to our ancestors as they have come before us, leading the way. And we are them today without a doubt or contradiction, because no one has the power to change man from his sin nature. Praise Allah for that. And my Moorish kin has definitely spoken wise on this understanding of justice. And like you said, peace of society depends on justice. And so it has definitely a lot more to do with bringing about harmony and balance to something than anything that has to do with bloodshed or revenge we look at justice as something that we practice, as something that a principle we stand upon, as something that is necessary for the society that we live in, then we recognize that this is a part of all of our duty. All of us are mufti, and all of us must stand in defense of the gospel, stand in defense of our principles and that which we stand for. Because if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. And so we just give you honors for the class this evening, honors to our Moorish kin for the measures, and praise Allah for our Moorish American government for having a home now for our people. And justice is definitely on the manifest. We have to, Moorish kin, continue to stand in defense of justice, stand in defense of the justice for us and our people, first and foremost, because charity begins at home and then spreads abroad. So once again, gratitude. We love you. Islam and peace.
And Islamism, gratitude, Grand Mufti, for being the scimitar that you are in this Moorish American government. We give honors to you, Grand Man. Praise be to Allah for all the works that you demonstrate. Islam. Well, all right. Let us call forth our Grand National Secretary of the State, Sister Shepsu Rakat Ma'at and Pooh, to the Coming Bay. Islam. You there, Goddess and Queen?
Close as I thought. Gratitude.
Islam. Gratitude.
Islam, Moorish kin, first of all, want to rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our Moorish American government, all of our officials, staff, Swift angels, muftis, divine ministers, most especially our Moorish kin, giving honor to all those Moors that spoke before me, all those Moors that will speak after me, giving a special honor to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shedu Amenti El Mohejed Shepsuel, for opening our meeting according to law, and also hosting this Grand Moorish Perspectives class this evening. Also, honors is due to Act 1 to our National Grand Secretary, State of Indiana, Dr. Sayanati Nuhetha Ruel, for taking registration and reading our subject chapter for the week. Our subject matter, also giving honor to our Moorish kin and our family online. Gratitude for your listening ear. Our subject matter, the peace of society, dependeth on justice, the happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. And Dr. Shaheed, this has been a very powerful class as always. So many keys brought forth. And it lets us know that justice is not just a word, it's an attribute of our Creator. We also possess the capacity to demonstrate justice. When the first ayat in our chapter for the week dealing with the peace of society, just dwelling on that aspect, recognizing the fact that it takes justice to maintain that peace of society. And here, dealing with various nations of the earth, and you have a lot of negative thinking and warlike degrees, competition, and you blink wrong and somebody's ready to take one off the count. Definitely peace is needed in this day and time. So when we look at justice and recognizing that also brings about the safe enjoyment of all our possessions, that also includes our history, our culture, our language, etc. And when we start to see the value of what our ancestors and forefathers have brought all the way down to this new era of time, then we no longer are going to let someone else tell our story. We tell our story, and that way we know that it's true and accurate. And we also look at the fact that we can no longer afford to allow ourselves to get taken off by somebody said something, I didn't like it, I'm going to take my marbles, go home mentality, based on something that Willie Lynch did, and we clung to the demonstration, recognizing that if we put the same energy or higher energy into learning who we are, then that would be a grand demonstration. That's how we unify, recognizing that it's more that we share in what is alike to us all as far as demonstrating love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as opposed to those things that divide us. We can no longer afford to allow pettiness to continue to divide us as a people. This is why we speak about the one free national name. When you put aside the degrees that are used to separate one, then you see that all truth is one, no matter what level it's coming from, no matter who's bringing it. If you can look at it from a universal perspective, then you are able to see your brothers and sisters as having the God within themselves. And also, it was so beautiful when you were speaking about cherubim and seraphim and the various levels of unfoldment. So, we have been trained here in the West to not think, to not reason, etc., to not will or think that we have more growing to do. And when you look at various stages of unfoldment, the prophet let us know that there is so much more wisdom to be learned, from the Moors. And, we've got to embody these high degrees and make it applicable to the self, because we can't be about love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice if we're not the message that we bring. So we first have to make these degrees applicable to the self and be what we know. So gratitude for calling me forth. Much peace and love to all of my Moorish kin. Islam.
And Islamism Grand National Secretary of State. Powerful. Islam, Islamism. Well, we want to give honors to you for that, coming straight from the tribe of endurance. Well, all right. Since we there, we might as well call forth the Scimitar of this new era in time. Our Grand National Chairman, Dr. Acting Pert M. Heru, to the coming bay. He brought it back with him. Islam, you there, Grand Man?
Close as a thought.
Uh-oh, that's the Scimitar the Prophet brought, ain't it?
Alhamdulillah. Rise, give praise to Allah and honor the Prophet Noble Ali, and send much honor to Noble Ali for bringing us, his Moorish American nationals, everything that we needed in order for us to save ourselves as a nation with our own government, our own God, our own history, forefathers, flag, seal, emblem, everything. The Prophet didn't leave nothing. He brought us everything. Moors, we are so blessed that we have our Grand National Seal, the Grand National Emblem, a Grand National Flag. And this is something, people talk about, black people and Negroes and colored folks and all this other kind of, the thing about it, they ain't got nothing. This was the name that they gave the slaves during the time of slavery. But Moorish America is a free national Muslim who had forefathers and mothers. They got the grand divine entity of the great God Allah. That's why we even got a divine constitution with bylaws. We got our own prayer. Moors, we are blessed. It is time now to wake up and be yourself. Who made you? Say what? Well, if Allah made you, why you can make your mistakes then? Take on your responsibility of being yourself. You got a flag. I don't think that Scimitar with that circle and with that 5-point open green stars up there for nothing. There's a reason why you got your own free national flag, your Grand National Seal with the Circle 7, the Grand National Emblem, everything. Moors, we are blessed. So we have got good reason to wake up. Because you've been asleep too long as it is now. Only slaves sleep like that. You ain't no slave, you're free. Oh, man. Look, boy, I am fired up. This is a grand class, more. Grand class. The brother minister, more than thank you for your participation. Islamism without a schism.
Islamism, grand man. Ooh wee. Well, we already know we're gonna pass this scimitar on to our national grand sheik. You know, goodness gracious, I know the door is off the hinges now. But let us call forth our national grand sheik, Dr. Serapis Amin Ra El. Islam, you there, grand man?
Y'all been there and kicked the door down.
Islam, sheik.
We doing this. We doing the drive-by to make sure that everything is all right. You know they knocked Morocco down today.
Uh-oh.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they knocked him down. 2,000 has perished. But anyway, we want to give our Father God Allah praises, honest to his love thought, everything that one brought. Prophet Noble True Ali came 5 times more powerful, y'all, just to set us all free. Thank you, Prophet. Honest to our officials and our staff, a Grand Mufti, and my 2 core divine ministers, 2 ministers of life, Royal Council, our citizens, sympathizers, and supporters, and those who was here to bear this historic event of justice being applied and supplied to the Moors from the nature side of life. The Assistant Grand Chief gave us a very, very powerful high-pitched sound, because you can hear the drum beating from the inner left of the right of one's heart. Carrying that scimitar it carries us to the halls of justice, where we draw from mercy, love, and right. And we carry that demonstration with pride, because we understand who we are now. We know, like the chairman said, we're not Negroes. Where y'all get that from? Put that back in the coffin. We don't recognize that demonstration. We up top of planet soil, looking at the world go by as we put our measures in the manifest and let everyone see. One don't know that the Moors is even back. Ain't that a shame? It's time for us to wake them up, Moors. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Dr. Chai, for this grand demonstration that you put out in the season. And to all those who gave them measure, praise the Lord for you. The Moors are back. Islam, January 15, 1929. Warning from the prophet. Read in all meetings. Everybody from all citizens and must be in all radicals. Agitated speeches rather working the owner on the streets. We offer peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards to Europeans because of confusion. Remember, your cards for your salvation. Bathe your baby daughters will feel severe consequences. We offer love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these stones are violated, justice then will take its course. Any citizen or group of citizens, Roman malicious feelings toward the government or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law by their prophets. They lose confidence in the prophet. She's telling their guard and budget, she's wearing the turban bed and return to the state where the prophet found her. This is the holy divine movement founded by the prophet through the will of the Father to redeem his people from their sinful ways. By order of the prophet, Noble Jew Ali. This divine warning is supreme law and will be enforced by the said government hereby. Islam, Islam, Islam. The holy covenant of the Asiatic nation. You're the children of one father provided for by his care, and the rest of one mother has given you so. And to bonds of affection, therefore, unite thee with thy brothers. At peace and happiness, they dwell in thy father's house. And when you separated in the world, remember the relation that binds you to love you, and to burn out the straight for thy own blood. Thy brothers in adversity assist you. Thy sisters in trouble forsake her not. Scotia of the fortunes of our Father, to give it to support this whole race. And this care be continued to you all. Is in love to each other. Islam, Islam, Islam. This means the 50 flows according to Act 2 of our divine constitution and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Go in peace. Moors love you. Peace.
Grand class.
Great class. National Assistant Grand. Great class. About your Moors, don't forget to pay your dues. Great class. National Assistant Grand. Don't forget to pay your
All
dues.
you Moors.
Islam. Peace and love, Moors. Peace and love, Moors. Islam, Moors. We love you.
This session is no longer being recorded.
Peace and love. We'll see you Moors in Sunday school tomorrow.
That's right.
Islam without the schism.
Sir.
Peace and love. That's what I'm talking about. A Sunday in school. That's right, Sheik. I hear you. Islam. Peace and love, Moors.
Good class. Dirty class. Good class, Marcus.
Gratitude.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. All right. Want to give honors to our family out there in social media as well. You know, for showing up. Peace and love to all y'all as well. We love you. Come back again. Like Justice. Islam.
Goodbye.